Hey guys, it's Tiffany, and you found me on the Wise Skies channel. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the April astrology transits for 2022. April kicks off our eclipse season this year, and we have one of the biggest astrology transits that we have been looking forward to, or looking forward to seeing how it's going to unfold with Jupiter conjunct Neptune. And so that's happening. We've been talking about it, and now is finally the month. So there's some interesting signposts. You know, when we talk about the astrology transits, what I'm doing is just, it's like a weather report with planets and how they influence us. The planets move through different gates through the lens of human design, through the lens of evolutionary astrology. They make different geometry patterns, right? So if you think about it kind of like people, which you're not supposed to do, you're not supposed to personify the planets, right? But if you think about it that way, just for fun, it's almost like, you know, sometimes you're holding hands with a person, and if you like that person, that's great. And if you don't like that person, that can be very intense, right? Sometimes you're in a room and you're at the opposite side of a room with somebody, and that's, you know, there's different vibes for if you work well with their energy or if you don't. And so depending on where they are in space and time creates a different influence on us. And we, of course, are informing the planets too. It's a mix and match when you look at it through evolutionary astrology. So what are the planets reflecting to us? You know, we start out on April 1st with an Aries new moon. It feels like a very fresh start. We also, the numerology shifts into a 1. So we're in a 1 month in a 6 universal year. To me, it's a great time to be following the beat of your own drum, to be kind of that fool card. Just start something new. Just get a case of the screw-its. Just try something out, bump around and find out, right? You are not designed to blindly follow. You are not designed to blindly follow. And so what do you want to change up? What do you want to do differently? What new cycle, new habit, new routine? This is a really cool pinnacle moment when the numerology shifts and the new moon happens in the sign of new beginnings of Aries, right? April 1st, very powerful. Do you want to change your address numerology? We have a cool article for that. I'll make sure that that is in your links below. So changing paces, changing spaces right from the first of the month. Crystals that might support you through this are bloodstone for clarity and shungite for purification. So thinking about that. Another little, I guess, bullet point I want to get out there before I go day by day is going to be the best days. And so the best days I'm circling are the 27th and 28th. That might not be the best days for you. They might, I don't know, but the 27th and 28th, Venus is going to conjunct Neptune. Those two are going to be right next to each other. Mercury is going to trine Pluto. What do you want to give a whirl? What do you want to just work out? You know, April 30th highlights love, money, honey. Venus rules honey and beauty and finances and self-worth, right? Understanding the self. And it's right next to lucky Jupiter. So when those two planets align at the end of the month, 27th through 30th, that feels like an interesting moment for things to go well. You know, there's always time for things to go well, but that looks like an astrologically cool time for things to go well. All right, so eclipse season. We talked about, let's go through the transits. Let's start on the first. We talked about the Aries new moon, welcoming new experiences, new perspectives, having childlike wonder, being willing to start something without having to finish it. So easy, right? The 4th, Mars is going to conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. And so Mars usually comes in early, so you might feel it as early as the 1st. The idea there, it's very militant, very aggressive. Aries rules airborne diseases. We might see a spike in airborne diseases around that time, that first week of April. Saturn rules borders and boundaries, right? And so you can see in the media sometimes when Mars is pushing the boundaries, right? This could be within the boundaries of a state or a territory or a country, but it could be personal boundaries as well, right? So it's like, yeah, we could get all excited with that Tiffany enthusiasm about that new moon, fresh start, April 1st energy, but we might be feeling that Mars conjunct Saturn. It might not feel so good. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to hit, but if you notice it, then you might want to start a little astrology journal so you can start to notice, oh, I'm feeling this transit come on. And I typically notice Mars transits X days early, right? So something for you to play with and make it more personal in your own experience. So that's the 4th, kind of icky. It will release. On the 5th, Venus is going to enter Pisces. On April 5th through May 2nd, Venus will be exalted in Pisces, right? What does that mean? It just means that Hotel Pisces is the favorite place for Venus to hang out. She loves being in there. The best version of this is altruism, right? So what can come of this Mars conjunct Saturn, this aggression at the border, this piercing through, this uncomfortable spike in things, Aquarius, right? Airborne stuff. Well, right on the end of that, the very next day, this is going to move into Pisces. That's where that altruistic heart, that sense of together, we're all one, give peace a chance. Those are the songs that we're singing while Venus. Of course, everything has a potentially positive and a potentially negative tone to it. So where could Venus and Pisces go wrong? That would be like people-pleasing behavior. That would be like trying to smooth things over without personal honesty because you're scared of the emotional fallout, right? We've all done that. We've all been there. It's something to be aware of. Now, on the 10th, Mercury is going to square Pluto. You might feel that a little bit early. Caution lights, right? Mercury square Pluto, it feels like somebody's been lying to us, like we don't have all the information, like something, like it smells fishy, but we're not exactly sure what's up. There can be misunderstandings, there can be deceptions. It feels very Seven of Swords if you study tarot. I would say if things look too good to be true, they might be. It's not a good time to travel. It's not a good time to set forward important communications, sign documents, make decisions. You want to let a little bit of time pass. You want to pause and meditate, right? Pause when agitated. This is a perfect time to use that slogan, pause when agitated, especially around April 10th. Mercury rules the way we think, the way we understand things, the way we communicate, our learning styles. We learn differently. Pluto blows things up, right? It's not like Uranian tower blow things up. It's like Pluto really gets to the bottom of things, and Mercury likes to look at the details. And so when they're square and they're in challenge to each other, it just feels like there's something underneath the surface that we can't quite grasp yet. So more will be revealed. So if you can avoid traveling during that time, please do. Please be safe. On the 11th, Mercury will then enter Taurus all the way through May 10th. So April 11th through May 10th, Mercury in Taurus. This is practical, down to earth, grounded, conservative mindsets, conservative spending, saving, prepping. We want to watch out for the stubborn side. So if you're feeling bullheaded, if you're feeling like there's only one way to think about this situation, if you're feeling certain, you might not know. It's like there is a downside to that Mercury, that mental planet in Taurus, the bull, the stubborn-headed one. But there's also a beautiful side to it when you're like, okay, maybe I'm going to play it safe. Maybe this is a time to be a little bit more conservative. Maybe I can get some seeds in the ground and transplant my plants and do something earthy and very Stevie Nicks, very like gold dust woman feeling, right? Like very magical. Like there's a very alchemical side to Taurus too. And Taurus loves to eat, right? There's lots of comfort with food. And so that can be something else you might notice, or there are some new cycles or patterns I want to start as related to my diet and food. Of course, I got to mark it. You got to know your digestion and your human design system, because that changes everything. If you're not eating properly and your body, for your type, and you're not digesting your nutrients, your cognition can't work. Your Mercury can't work for you. So understanding your digestion according to your design, which you can get your body graph for free online, but you can also book a session with Leisha and really get that extra care and touch. It's so critical to know your unique design, your unique environment, and that changes everything. So Mercury and Taurus, maybe you want to learn about what foods would be more beneficial for you. Maybe you want to get some blood work done and say, oh, wow, my hormone levels are off. Or, oh, wow, I have plenty of vitamin D. I don't need to be doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Just get a check-in going on, get a pulse on things, so to speak. On April 12th, that's when Jupiter is going to conjunct Neptune, that big, huge kiss in the sky, the magnification Jupiter of the unknown Neptune, right? So we don't know what we don't know. That has been, I guess, the headline of these two planets coming together. We don't know what we don't know. It is a new 12-year cycle. It is special for artists. There are other positive things going on in the sky that day. And it happens directly on a fixed star that is very fatalistic, right? Rules stabs and cuts and interesting like things for a fixed star to rule or govern over. So I'm curious how this is going to play out. I have some really dark ideas, right? 4 planets in Scorpio, but I'm not going to put them out there for us. I'm just going to stay focused on, wow, what's the potential? What's big magic? And you know what they say about potential? It's just potential. It's what could be, right? And so is there something that you need to let be potential, but also take action steps for? Is there something that you don't need to plan, right? Is there something that you don't need to control? Is there something that you don't, need to understand? Like, you can just be in the mystery of it all. As we start April, the sun is going to be in the 21st gate, the first week of April. And this is the gate of the hunter, the huntress, the treasurer, and biting through. And it's creates a desire to be in control of resources, right? And so far you can see in the astrology, the language of the astrology, there's a lot that supports that controlling of resources. Mercury squaring Pluto. Who's in charge? If you want to pay attention to what themes around control might be coming up for you. I know that it's easy to be in a controlling mindset when you come from a very shaky upbringing, right? When you're out of control, when your environment is out of control as a little kid, you grow up trying to control things more and more because you want to make things safe. And so the other side of control is faith, great faith, great trust in the mystery. And so those are some of the underlying themes going on. I did list for you what gates the sun is moving through this month. This is new. I don't usually report on that, but I did list it for you. So we're going from, what did I say? The 21st gate, then the sun will move into the 51st gate, the gate of shock, the 5th gate, on the 5th, the 42nd gate, which is the gate of completion, right? And then we're also going to see influences from gate 3, which is about order, 27 about responsibility, and 24 about rationalization. Those are just the bullet points, so you have some mind candy. Just keep living your life, you know what I mean? Just keep living your life. Biting through is how we're going to start on the 1st in that gate, right? So interesting things to look at. Jupiter conjunct Neptune on the 12th, right? Like this major changing of tides. I've also been describing it as like, this is when the art changes. This is when we go from the 70s music to the 80s music. The vibe changes, right? The style of art changes. Like culturally, this is a time when something can be born that no other period of time could have written this masterpiece, right? So something's forming right now below the surface with the artists. And so if you are in that artistic mindset, go ahead and write something down. Make sure that you've got a notebook with you, or you follow your dreams, or you know what I mean? Like you inventory some of your more elusive thoughts, right? That might come into play for you later. So pay attention to those things. On the 15th, April 15th, Mars is going to enter Pisces. So we've got Venus in Pisces, yay, right? But now Mars is going to scoot into Hotel Pisces too, all the way April 15th through May 24th. This is not so yay. Mars entering Pisces, if you have that in your birth chart, that's one thing, like, bless you. That's a hard one to work with. But when it's in the skies, at least it'll pass. There's indirect resistance. This is passive aggressive behavior. Passive aggressive behavior can lead to a call to love, right? Like, love me, help me, damsel in distress, that type of a thing. Mars has to confront things. Pisces doesn't really want to do that. And so there's this avoidance strategy, right? So any type of avoidance stuff. Mars helps us focus. And Pisces reminds us about compassion too. So can you use some 9-centered language? Like, if I'm honest with myself and you, this is how I'm really feeling. People want to be dealt with honestly, right? Like, they want to know. And if it creates something for you guys to, like, if your honesty kind of creates a problem, let that be information. You don't have to let it hurt you, right? Let it just be information. Let it be objective, not subjective. Something I've been working on, right? So we just keep asking ourselves, with both Mars and Venus now in Pisces at this part of the month, what's the most compassionate choice for all involved? What's the most compassionate choice for me? On the 16th, we get our full moon in 26 degrees of Libra. So wherever 26 degrees of Libra is in your chart, you can know that's where you're gonna see some closure, some completion, some things coming full circle, something being illuminated by the full moon. What do you like to do on the full moon? Do you like to set water out with your intentions? Do you like to bury your crystals? Do you like to make an offering? Do you like to cook a meal and have people over? Do you like to play some music and do yoga? Like, just where is it that you want to celebrate the full moon? Libra, of course, finding balance between the head and heart, finding balance between your personal integrity and what's going on in your life, having to say no to some things that don't match up anymore, closure with unhealthy things that are Libra, closure with dysfunctional partnerships. Where do you want something to end so that something fresh, new, and inspired, maybe it's within your same partnership, but maybe it's not, I don't know. But the idea is like, let something that's not going well come end, and with gratitude and thank it and be able to move forward. Balancing the scales of your head and heart. That's a big one. It's an inside job, isn't it? On the 20th, the sun is going to enter Taurus. Yay, happy birthday to our Aries and to our Taurus this month. We're going to all be able to tap into our loyal and dependable and luxury loving and earthy Taurian vibes. Sun in Taurus, April 20th through May 21st. So if you need a gift for your Taurus, get a gift certificate from wiseguyscollective.com. You can go to the book a session or book a reading with us page and get a gift certificate for your Taurus friends. It'll be good for 3 months, I believe. All right, on the 29th, Mercury is going to enter Gemini. So Mercury is leaving Taurus, right? That when we were talking about being like too stubborn or too bullheaded, or also using that in the earthy, groundy, gardeny, fairy elves like mushrooms land, right? That's a good use of Mercury in Taurus. When it enters into Gemini on April 29th, it loves being there. Pluto retrogrades that day. So you're feeling like, well, on one hand, Mercury and Gemini, it's like, yes, learning, communications, things are flowing, information, like data, bullet points, right? But yet Pluto starts to retrograde. And so around the 28th, 29th, when that outer planet starts to retrograde or appear retrograde in the sky, things slow down for us. So how can you distill information? How can you slow down the information flow? How can you work with that? Because Pluto goes retrograde every year, 5 months. It's not like, oh my God, this monumental thing that we are now documenting on all of the pop culture channels, right? It's not like an invasive situation. It invites us to reflect on how we have used our personal power. Have we done that well? Is there something that we want to do better? And it can be as simple as that, right? You can also replace power with worth, right? Where have we used our personal worth well? Where have we given our worth away? So one way of working with that. Pluto rules our government systems and abuses of power too. So reflecting on that at a bigger level and at a smaller level. Pluto retrograde cycles. The past ones can give you some clues and for patterns that you might be like trying to resolve, or just, I don't know, your own evolution for your own curiosity, right? So when was Pluto retrograde last? Well, in 2020, from April 25th to October 4th. Okay, you're going to see his pattern here. In 2021, from April 27th to October 6th. All right, all in Capricorn. And here in 2022, April 29th to October 8th in Capricorn. So you can see this is a long, from April to October, it's hard to identify, right? What was going on during that long stretch, right? But sometimes it can be really useful and powerful. So I just wanted to throw that little nugget in there for you. The very last day, April 30th, May 1st, depending on where you are, right? May 1st, Beltane. We've got a new moon partial solar eclipse in 10 degrees of Taurus. This is going to be conjunct Uranus. Crazy. An eclipse conjunct Uranus. Very exciting. What is coming unearthed? What is rattling and shaking through? Did you know that the ancient cultures used the eclipses to wage wars and to know when to make like crazy battle decisions? Lots of pivotal things happen in our lives on eclipses, and it's usually only through the lens of looking back over the past that I can make sense of it. So I'm not the kind of astrologer that's like, ooh, April 30th, May 1st, eclipse coming, better watch out for this particular thing. No, it's like, yeah, we can be aware of it and aware that something major is pivoting. And I can see it by looking back, like, oh, that makes sense, right? Not everything has to be future casted or past casted, right? Some of you will just know and will just feel it and just be aware of it. Tiger's eye for empowerment, rose quartz for compassion. These are some crystals that you could work with. 10 degrees of Taurus, where is that in your chart? What house is it affecting? Just some things to play with, right? I want to invite you guys to join our membership. It's $22 a month. In April of 2022, when this is being aired, our, for Celeste Brooks from Astrology by Celeste, our dear friend, is going to come back and teach us about this particular eclipse. Like I said, conjunct Uranus sounds heavy, sounds serious, sounds shattering and life altering. Things are shattering. When you have your first human design session, that can be shattering. When you have your first Akashic record session, that can be amazing and uplifting and crazy, and the veil comes off, right? There's lots of potential there, but that potential of awakening can be messy business. It can be, I keep thinking of the word shattering, sorry, I don't know. It can be life altering. So Celeste is going to come teach us a class, and she's going to give her hot takes on your chart. So if you have your birth data, she'll pull up your chart and be like, boom, this is what's going on with this eclipse for you. Very cool. Members only. $22. You can just join for April and cancel if you want. Cancel anytime. Also in April, you'll get the Akashic record reading for the month, the human design support call, which we're going through the centers right now. And of course, I'll do the astrology and tarot reading, the horoscope through the cards. I wanted to save a little time and pull a couple of cards for us. So that's a lot. That's a lot of information quickly. I do have this written up in a blog post for you. So please feel free to go to wiseskiescollective.com, click on the tools and then the blog, and you'll find the blog for April of 2022. May, before I do the cards, guys, May looks hairy, lots of hot mess, potential for burnout. So don't push it. Don't feel so good in April and book everything out and just be like maxed out to the nines in May, because May looks like, let me just tell you. So Mercury goes retrograde May 10th through June 2nd. Jupiter enters Aries on May 10th. That's very fireball energy. Let's see, on the 16th, we'll have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. At the same time, it's going to square Saturn and Aquarius. Friction, like major friction. On the 17th of May, Saturn will semi-sextile Neptune. This feels very like sidetracked and distracted and distorted. And then, yay, Mars will conjunct Neptune in Pisces at the end, which is all about really invasive behavior. So I don't know. I think that there's lots of ways that we could find the highlights and the ways to stay optimistic. But what I want to tell you in April is don't set yourself up for failure by scheduling so much in May that you have burnout, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of room for overdoing it in May already. So where can you go slow? Where can you adjust to that new space and pace? Use the month of April to determine what pace and space you want to live in and be in, right? This is that April 1st, new moon, numerology, Aries, like all of that fresh newness can be very uplifting and energizing and have a lot of momentum. And so we just want to find something that's sustainable with that full moon in Libra. What's sustainable? We don't want to create something in motion that feels out of balance, because things do seem to me, look like they're going to feel perhaps more out of balance in May, right? So just checking in with the cards here. This is a beautiful deck from Sedona. And I wanted to pull a card for all of us in April. It's the card of meditation. So let me flip over. Always a good card to get, isn't it? Reminder, you never know what we're training for. So this artist is saying that this painting is the cosmic Buddha. So the cosmic Buddha, it says the purpose of meditation is to connect with the silence that ever permeates our universe, finding meaning and purpose to life. There's not a more powerful purpose than strengthening your connection with the divine. The whole of the practice is to bring your attention to see yourself face to face in the now, wholly and complete, as you truly are. Use meditation to focus, to cultivate awareness of the silence that is innately in you alongside your thoughts. Seek to be completely present in the now. There are many traditions and ways to meditate with your eyes closed or open. There's no right or wrong way. Just find what works for you. As your perspective widens, you will find that all of life, everything you do can be meditation, right? I really love that, right? Like even your spreadsheets can be meditation. Like even your Trello boards can be a deep meditation. Even walking the trash out or doing the dishes can be a meditation, right? It says divine intelligence emanates from the infinite that knows all. Because you are one with everything, you have access to this divine intelligence, your intuition. The strength or the frequency of divine intelligence depends upon your dedication spent in prayer and meditation. Your spiritual practice is exercise for your soul. The more you practice, the stronger and more liberated you become. By choosing the card meditation, you are invited to meditate and liberate. Perhaps you have perceived the source to be somewhere outside of you, forces, spirits, gods and goddesses, and astrological movements in the sky in another place. Oh no, she's dissing my astrology reading. One day you learn through practicing meditation, a shift in your consciousness occurs in which you open to see that the spiritual world is within you where it has always been. All right, so a little bonus card for you for meditation. I also wanted to use the Star Tarot and just check in and see what it is that we need to hear for the month of April 2022, any extra insider guidance, something I might have missed in looking at over the astrology forecast. Just asking for clarity. What is it that we need to know for some extra info? All right, the Four of Pentacles here, and the Nine of Swords reversed. All right, Five of Pentacles reversed, King of Cups reversed. To me, this is really overcoming some emotional grief, some sadness, something that's kept you up at night. Don't worry, things are stabilizing. And so what is it? What would a stabilized life look like? What would it be like without the drama? You know, what would it be like without the emotions? What if we were just looking at mechanics for a second here? What if it was just mechanics and aura instead of getting kind of sidetracked emotionally? I'm not saying don't feel your feelings. You got to feel them all the way through. Emotions buried alive don't die. But it to me, I can hear my mentor saying, what would that be like without the drama? What if it was just the mechanics, right? So that's food for thought for April. Hopefully that hits home for some of you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know there's a lot of astrology channels to watch. I know there's a lot of people out there sharing what they see, and it means a lot that you spend some time with us. So thanks for being here. If you need the extra support, I'll drop the links down below, and you can always book a session or check out our digital astrology calendar, join our membership, and connect with us at wiseskiescollective.com. If you're new, I want you to come back for Free Tarot Friday. It's a lot of fun. So we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.